What's happening, folks? What is happening? What is happening? What is happening? What's going on? For whatever reason, the chat is not showing up in my stream software. So give me a moment, guys. Let me just go directly to the stream in a YouTube browser so I can at least see what you guys are saying. And if you guys can do me a favor, let me know. Let me know if you're actually hearing me. You should be. But, you know, anytime something crazy happens with the stream or the software, I just want to make sure that it's progressing the way it's supposed to. So if you guys can do that for me, I have the stream up here in a browser now. If you guys can just confirm that you can hear me, then all will be well. Sounds good? Okay, yes, y'all can hear me. All right, so let me pause the stream on my end. And let's say what's up to the early commenters. But before we do that, let me introduce the show. Welcome to the latest episode of the Terrible Towel Postgame Show. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, live from the still basement, aka the virtual Heinz Field, as you see behind me there. And let me just say this, a lot of people have asked, this is an actual photo that I took at Heinz Field. You know, I know I get this question all the time. Some of you guys know that, but this is a photo that I took myself at Heinz Field, so that's what it is. All right, let's say what's up to the early commenters, and then we're going to get into what we do. First and foremost, let's say yellow to Rajan 39. Hello, Miss Lanisha. How you doing this afternoon? Glad to have you with us. Thank you, Miss Lady, for coming by. Haas Jafer. Sade, Miss Sade. What's going on, Sade? Good to have you by as well. Thank you for coming to hanging out with the boys. We appreciate that. Reggie Reg, Shadow Slayer, Ernest Grice, Virgin. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly. I never know if I'm saying your name correctly. So it's Verginithe. What's happening? Brother Mark 1992. Who else we got up in here? Build His Life. My good brother Build His Life in the building. Ralph Fax. Henry Manuel. Who else is in here? Ollie Howard. Play Productions. Play Productions with the NFL Shield as the avatar there. My good brother Y Diggy in the building. MJ, Wave Dave, Donovan Hubbard, Cutboy 412, Tony B, Speed. I haven't seen you in a while. What's going on? How you been? Marky Hunt. Miss Debbie, what's going on, Miss Debbie? Glad to have you as well. Appreciate you coming and hanging out with the boys and keeping us all in check. Miss Destiny in the building as well. Thank you, Miss Destiny, for coming through and hanging out with the boys. We appreciate you all, the lovely ladies. So, all right, man, let's dive into the action. I don't want to keep yickety yakking. Let's get to the action. All right, let me pull up my notations here, good people. Y'all know what I do. For you guys that are newcomers, what I usually do is I basically talk about the inactives really quick, just letting you know who didn't play. Maybe give it my thoughts if there's a concern of a player that I thought would have been a help. I also talk about in-game injuries. And of course, I may have missed some. And then I talk about the penalties. Of course, I may have missed some as well. And then, of course, we got some office visits. We'll get to those. And first and foremost, as far as, talking about the game, I talk about the first defensive series, first offensive series, and then I just basically kind of give you my key moments, notations, and there you have it. And then I come to you guys in the chat. So first and foremost, man, the inactives for today's game, Isaiah Buggs was inactive. Anthony McFarland. Let me just say this, man, as I take a sip of water. I don't know what's up with Anthony McFarland. My best guess is this. I'm going to go out on a limb. I have a hunch. Because I've seen both of these players on special teams. I've seen Kalen Ballage and I've seen Benny Snell. Right? Now, follow where I'm going here. Most of us coming into the season, we wanted to see lightning and thunder approach. Maybe get a guy like Anthony McFarland more offensive touches to spell than Najee Harris. Hadn't seen that much. Even when he was healthy, we saw a game or two where he might have got in for a couple of plays, right? Kalen Ballage has got in for very few plays. Benny Snell has probably got more reps than anyone else, but it's been very few. So clearly we're going with the bell cow approach. I know a lot of us don't want to wear down Najee, but Najee continues to say, I'm built for this. And so they're going with that approach. So where I'm getting at is maybe Anthony McFarland is just not getting a helmet because we don't intend to utilize him much, and he doesn't help on special teams. Would be my best guess. The last time we saw him, he was returning kicks while Ray was out. So I'm just saying, maybe that's why we're not seeing him, but it is kind of disappointing that we're not seeing him offensively, but I think that's the reason why. Buddy Johnson also was out, which is kind of disappointing. I wanted to allow that kid to get some more reps. And then, of course, Dwayne Haskins and Kevin Radar. Injuries in the game. Freiermuth, man, what a vicious blow he took. You saw immediately, you basically saw what happened to him as soon as he got hit. He was staggered. It almost looked like a boxing match where, he stunned him. And, Freiermuth basically was out of the game with a concussion. But I made a notation of this, and I kind of forgot this until they said it on the broadcast. Second concussion in the last month. It's not good. That's not good. So they really need to definitely evaluate this kid, man, and not rush it. As much as I want him out there, we cannot rush it, getting him back on the field, because that's, you got to be concerned with head injuries. Also, TJ Watt goes down, man, on the Titans' last drive, and he ended up coming back into the game, but it's worth noting. Let's find out what's going on with him. But what a tough guy. I guess he realizes what occurred. Basically, he realized the situation we were in, and he decided, I'm going back out there. So there you have it. Penalties in the game. James Pierre was called for a block in the back after a big punt return. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, man. Call me naive, but I didn't know. I really did not know that the kicking team could get called for blocking in the back. I mean, I guess it makes sense, but I didn't really realize that was the thing, But I guess, you know what I'm saying? But, he gets called for that, so we have to mark that down as a penalty. What else do I have here? Cam Hayward was called for an encroachment. It happens. You're going to give Cam a pass because Cam continues to be a dog. Trey Turner called for a false start, and it was on a 3rd and 1. That was huge. Also, Chooks is called for false start. Trey Turner called for holding, which negated a pass interference on defense, if you remember that. And then Deontay Johnson also late in the 4th quarter gets called for a false start. I don't think that ended up killing us, but, those are the penalties that I have right now, and it might be a couple more that I don't have. And guys, we have some office visits, and we'll get to them. But I have a couple people that are going to be called into the office. So let's go ahead and go to the first defensive series, first offensive series. And let me ask you guys, man, in the chat, did y'all know anything about that? Did y'all know, I'm sure it is a penalty, but I just hadn't seen it in so long. Blocking in the back on the defense. Did y'all know that was such a thing? I figured as a defensive player, you can get guys off you. You can't hold them. But I wasn't completely aware that was really a thing. Let me see what you guys say really quick. I won't spend too much time here, but were you guys aware of that at all? Champagne the Dawn says, nope, craziness. Tony B says, nope. Brother Mark says, nope. Sade says, no. Listen, I tend to pride myself on knowing a little bit of football and kind of knowing some of the rules, but that one, I had never seen that before, but yeah, it was interesting. All right, well, let's keep it moving. Yeah, some of you guys said, yeah, you were aware of it. Yeah, I just wasn't. But, yeah. All right, let's keep it moving, man. First defensive series, Wormley gets a sack on Tannehill on 1st down, brought up a loss of 8 yards. Julio Jones was butt naked open, wide open. I can't wait to see the film again, like the All-22 version, to see why. And I'm sure it was because of play action. Remember what I said last week? Facing Minnesota. Remember what I said earlier this week in the pregame show? Play action. That has given the Steelers a lot of fits. Hadn't been able to stop the run. Hadn't been good on play action. So, of course, they're going to come out and run play action. But I guess, we got good pressure. Wormley gets the sack, but Julio Jones was open. But I'll go back and take a look at that. A gain of, let me see. We get him in a 3rd and 15. The Steelers were able to force a 3 and out after shutting down a screen. And then Ray gets a nice kick return, or punt return, excuse me. First offensive series by the Steelers. The Steelers go play action to Deontay Johnson on first down for a solid pickup. I thought that was a nice change of pace, given the fact that we usually run right up the middle. That was a good, throw something different at him, if you will. Najee is able to gain 2 yards on the very next play. Then there was an incomplete pass to Najee, which looked like basically like a toss. Ben tossed it forward, so they called it an incomplete pass. But that was just a ugly sequence of events right there. 3rd and 8, Claypool is unable to catch a tough 50-50 ball, and the Steelers basically at that point, they're forced to punt it. And it was a horrendous punt by Presley Harvin. And he, my friends, is the first office visit of the day. Presley Harvin, please bring yourself into this office, sir. Come on in. Come on in, take a seat. We got to talk. Presley Harvin, first of all, let me be honest with you. I'm about to get a little personal. I don't mean any disrespect, but I feel like I have to say this. First of all, you shouldn't even be a punter. Just looking at your physical stature. I mean, you should have a little more athleticism to you. And at your size, you should be able to play something else on the football field. Let's start with that. But hold on. I'll get right back to you in a moment, Presley. We have a donation here, man. Round of applause for the donation. And actually, hold on, guys. I don't know if y'all are hearing that. Give me a second. I always like you guys to hear my appreciation, so hold on. Looks like my round of applause disconnected. I had an update, on my computer a little while ago, and I didn't redo some things. So here we go. Let's try this again. Round of applause. Round of applause. Thank you for the donation. Bruh, I can't read that name. What the had... Okay, I think I know what that's supposed to say, but I'm not going to read it. But shout outs to you. He says, to a fellow brother, why Tomlin is so bad at time management is not CPT on the field, shake my head. I'm mad at his bad challenges, always losses. Listen, I'm going to talk about that. I am going to talk about that. Hold your horses. That's why Tomlin is in the thumbnail. I know some of you guys always try to figure out, who I have in the thumbnail and why. Oh, that's why. That is why. Thank you for the donation. But trust me, we gonna talk to Mike Tomlin today. Yes, we are. All right, let's get back to you, Mr. Harvin. Fam, you just been wildly inconsistent. I mean, you booted your way on the team, by kicking against Barry, which, Barry has his good days and off days. And actually, you have turned into him. You have turned into the guy that you replaced. You have a good kick, you have a bad kick. You have a bad kick, you have a bad kick. A bad kick, good kick. That's how your ratio goes. It's usually good, bad, bad, good, good. Or bad, bad, good, bad, bad, good, good. You see what I'm saying? Very rarely do you have consecutive good. What's happening, bruh? Like I said, your size and all that, you ought to be playing something else as far as football. You decided to become a punter. So I'm going to have even more. I'm going to judge you more because you look like you could play something else. So if you at your physical stature decided to be a punter, you better be a good one. And you're just not having a consistent season. I understand. People are always going to say, oh, well, he's a rookie. Yeah, okay, I get it. But does that really apply to kickers? I'm asking. Maybe the people in the chat can, you know what I mean? Maybe y'all can say, no, Sim, you wrong. But does that apply to kickers, rookies? Maybe. I guess the pressure, pressure can get to you. But come on, bruh. All we asking you to do is stand back there and kick. There's no reason with a guy that has shown what you can do in preseason. There's no reason that you should ever have 2 punts in a game that's less than 30 yards. Stop the foolishness. I'll tell you this much. I'm going to speak for the Steelers organization. I bet you have some competition looking your way in camp next year. Let that sit on you. Let that sizzle in your spirit, like my man Country Wayne would say. All right, get out of here, man. Next up, guys, who else we got to talk about? Let's see. Let's keep going. We'll get to the office visits. Second drive, offensively, the Steelers face a 3rd and 10 after 2 incompletions, 2 straight incompletions. We first face a 3rd and 10, then the Steelers go 3 and out. It was a huge punt. See, here we go. There it is, up and down. Harvin gets a nice punt on that. Even bigger return by Rodgers. And then James Pierre is called for a block in the back. See, I would call James Pierre in the office, but there's no need to. The boy don't even play defensively anymore. So I'm going to let him live. But that was just, you know what? Yeah, just let him live. There's no need. He hasn't helped us anyway, except for on special teams. But listen, I still like James Pierre, guys. Don't get it wrong. You know, he was a gamble anyway, and he just, you know, he hasn't turned out to be what we wanted. But I'll still give him time to continue to work on his game, and you know, I'm not gonna just beat him up when he wasn't a sure thing coming in anyway. Titans were able to score off of a QB sneak. Titans are notated here. The Titans got a huge push on that particular play, man. That offensive line got in a tremendous push on our D line. And yeah, Titans are able to go up at that point. Next up, Steelers give up a 3rd and 8. And wait a minute, I got this stuff. Okay, I got this noted in the wrong place. So let me let me get this out of here. Because like I said, we had gone 3 and out, right? And this notation is supposed to be here on the next line as far as the touchdown. Real quick, let me interrupt myself and say round of applause to Luis D, man, for the donation. Really appreciate that. Luis says, sketchy officiating, but at the end, it's great to have Joe Haden back. Did his value to the team earn him a new contract with the organization? No, Luis, it didn't. It didn't. Did not earn him a new contract. Listen, unfortunately, Joe Haden is an aging cornerback. Let's keep it real. Joe Haden can't run the way he used to. Joe Haden is that veteran presence. But if he earns a new contract, it can't be for no top dollar. You know what I mean? It can't be for what he might deem he's worth, you know, as far as the market. It can't be. You just can't do that. Not at this stage of his career. Definitely not. You know, if he's the type of guy that wants to hang around, you know what I'm saying, and he realizes maybe his market isn't as big, he's been out, so his value might not be able to show when he's trying to get, you know, shop around, and he wants to come back on a contract that's, you know, favorable for both him and the team. Okay, maybe, but again, honestly, Joe Haden still isn't the answer at cornerback. You know, maybe you get him out there in situations, you know, let him be that veteran in certain situations, but he's definitely not your premier cornerback. And why do we keep getting this trash here in the chat? Hold on, guys. Let me. These idiots. But all right, guys, let's keep it moving. What else do we have here? So the Steelers give up a 3rd and 8 and allow the Titans to go 1st and goal on the very next drive. And that's why I was talking about Tannehill. But I did put here missed tackle by Marlette and Devin Bush. Devin Bush. You already know. You already knew, didn't you? Because you've been here earlier this year. Come on in the office, man. Come on in the office. Short and sweet. DB. Brother, that's an interception. It hits your hands. I understand you play on the defense. And maybe some of you guys don't have the best hands, but bruh, a defender that's plays pass coverage, whether you are a linebacker or a DB, and it's that much of a money ball, you have to catch that. You have to catch that. I mean, bruh, there's nothing else I can say. And here's the thing, Devin Bush, I actually have been defending your last couple of games. Yeah, this game too. I'm going to watch the film, but I saw a couple times where you perked up in this game. I saw a couple times where you were showing some sideline to sideline, stepping up in the pocket, in the gaps. That PBU should have been an interception, but that's why I'm calling you into the office, because you have to catch that. You catch that pointer off the board. But like I said, I've been telling said folks here in the chat and those who see the private content, I've shown you, Devin Bush, still you're not playing to number one pick potential so far, but maybe you're coming out of your funk a little bit because you've played better now, in my opinion, the last 3 games. Still not great, but you've played way better than what you was playing earlier this season. I'll let the film, be my guide as far as how much credit I give you for this game, but you have to catch that, bro. I'm on anybody's head that don't catch the ball when it hit them here. And shoot, you might get somewhere down the field because you had a head start. All right, man. Yeah, guys, so Devin Bush drops the interception, man, and the Titans score off of a QB sneak. And like I said, their offensive line got tremendous push. Third offensive possession by the Steelers. Ben Roethlisberger gets sacked on an RPO. He keeps it, brings up a 3rd and 14, and Ben misses Najee Harris on the screenplay, and another terrible punt by, Presley Harvin. And I'm curious to know if that was an incomplete, like a bad throw by Ben or bad communication to Najee, because it seems like the 2 times that he's missed them on the screens in today's game, he kind of went and talked to him. But to me, that looked like a bad throw by Ben. I don't know. It looks like I don't know where else he wants Najee to be in that situation, so I won't speculate, but just my opinion. Right after that, the Steelers give up back-to-back 3rd and shorts, but the Steelers were able to hold the Titans to a field goal. At this point, it's 10-0 Titans. 4th offensive possession. Steelers drive. They started with a reverse to Deontay Johnson for 9 yards. And then Turner gets called for a false start. And on 3rd and 1, it backs it up to a 3rd and 6. And guess what? Steelers unable to convert the 3rd and 6. Now, right after that, the Steelers force a 3rd and 5 on the Titans. Schobert gets very good pressure, and Marlette forces a fumble on the tight end. Minka recovers. That was a great, great, great series right there, man, because, again, you saw Schobert getting pressure. He's in the face of Tannehill, hits Tannehill, and then, Marlette just kind of playing like Mike Hilton on that play, being scrappy, right? Knocks the ball out. Boom. Minka recovers it. Let me say something. You know what? I'll say it at the end. Give me a second, guys. Y'all know I like to do this in real time, right? I'm going to notate this about Marlette. I want to talk about this at the end, so I don't forget. All right, so after that, where am I? Let me get back to my spot. Steelers, Minka recovers. Okay, 5th offensive drive. False start by Chooks after a 1st down carry by Claypool. Ben gets hit on the RPO. I thought it could have been called for unnecessary roughness, but I'll defer to you guys. So let me defer to y'all really quick. Do you guys think that should have been an unnecessary roughness when Ben was hit? Remember on the RPO, Ben handed the ball off. Ben was probably standing there for a second or two, and then he gets hit. Do you guys think that was that penalty worthy or no? Because I thought it was. I guess you could call it if you want to say that the quarterback is defenseless, but as a football player, I'm kind of like, he's trying to guess who has the ball, but clearly the ball was gone. So to me, it was just getting a shot on Ben, but I'm curious to know you guys, and don't give me the biased answer. Give me the football answer. Would you have called that, yes or no? Steelers say yes. Cutboy says, I said Steelers say yes. Steelers baby says yes. Cutboy 412 says no. Jack Bauer says no. The game is too soft. I'm with you. Leonard Green says no. Mr. Fresh says yes. Lanisha says yes. Rajan says yes. Okay, I'm just curious to see how you guys felt. Curious to see how you guys felt. Round of applause, man, to Keen Go Crazy Gaming. Donation. Thank you for the donation. He says, Sim, can we talk about Matt Canada? I'm not the type of want to fire coaches left and right, but our offense has been terrible. O-line bad, but no execution. No, he says, but no excuse. Okay. Yeah, I will talk about that. Let me just do it really quick. Let me join in with you and say that I have not been extremely happy with Matt Canada over the course of the year. On the surface, but I will say this, and I think I've said this earlier in the season. I'm going to judge Matt Canada with our new quarterback. If he continues to be the Steelers' offensive coordinator, next season, and we have whoever else is running the show, I'm going to judge him then, because part of me still feels that there are limitations because of Ben Roethlisberger, but at the same time, I'm going to share in, I believe, my girl Destiny said earlier in the year, you still got to find a way to, come up with a better game plan for Roethlisberger then, okay? So that's where I'm going to point the finger at Matt Canada. I understand you can't get all the way in your bag because maybe we don't have a quarterback to really execute your plan, but then call a better plan for the quarterback you have, sir. That's what you do. So Matt Canada, I'm eyeballing you and trying to figure out what's happening here. But I'm going to give you a slight pass because who your quarterback is. But again, you got to work with what you got, right? Like my man said, no excuse for lack of execution. Some of that does fall on the players, but you get the gist of what I'm saying. Shout outs to King Go Crazy Gaming again for the donation. Let's keep it moving. What did I put here? Ben gets hit on the RPO. Unnecessary roughness wasn't called. Ben takes a shot on 3rd and 4 and unable to hit Ray. He tried to throw that fade. The Steelers have to settle for a field goal. And so that point is 10-3 Titans. Again, man, I told y'all that's Ben Roethlisberger. Ben is always going to take the shot. He's always going to take the shot. If it's 3rd and short, or we can still get the first down, but the end zone is right there. Ben just takes the shot, man. He's just not the quarterback, in my opinion, that's gonna just get the first down or go to the next read. Some of those things you could tell he reads it immediately, and that's just how he's been, man. And next possession by the Titans, I wrote here that Haden gets smoked on a play action, but the ball was dropped. Y'all remember that one? Whoa. Again, can't wait to watch the film again so I can see what really happened there, but Haden got smoked. That boy was wide open, and he drops it. And that dude has kind of been their guy, with Julio, when Julio and what's his name, A.J. Brown were down. This guy, I forget his name now, but he's been one of their go-to guys, and he dropped that ball, man. I'm like, thank you. Steelers face a 3rd and 5. The Titans are able to convert with a gain of 6. Steelers give up an 18-yard gain on the very next possession there. I forget what it was. I think it was a run. I didn't note it for some. Oh no, I put here 18-yard gain after the catch, and then we were able to hold them to a field goal. So at that point, man, the Titans again, 13-3 at that point, if I'm not mistaken here, unless I got it wrong here. Yeah, I think I combined these two possessions I have here. So let me read the next one. I said the Titans have 6 first downs on that drive. Remember that drive? They had 6 first downs. Oh, here's the drive I want to talk about. So I missed a drive somewhere, guys. Somewhere I missed it, or either I spaced down. But anyway, y'all know what happened. This is the drive I want to talk about. 19 plays. They had the ball for 19 plays. Now, Good job, defense, for holding them to just 3. Cam Hayward gets a sack to finally end that drive. But here's what you all have been waiting for. Mike Tomlin, sir, please come back into the offense. If I'm not mistaken, this is the second time you've been there this season. Come on in, Mr. Tomlin. Okay, Mike Tomlin. Let me say this loud and clear, because for whatever reason, people have convenient amnesia and they seem to forget when I say certain things. Let me start off by saying this. I definitely do like you as a coach. Think you have been a great coach for the Steelers. I have no problem with you being the Steelers coach. I am a supporter. Yeah, I am. However, there is 2 things, Mr. Tomlin, that I have always critiqued and criticized about your coaching. 2. One of them we didn't see today, which would be challenges. You seem not to be that good when you challenge a play. I don't know if it's all you or if you have people upstairs or people on the sideline that encourage you and nudge you to do it. And even if they do, you still should be able to see for yourself, especially on home games, right? You look at the replay and you should be able to say, nah, we ain't winning that one. Your challenges have been lousy in your career. But today, Mr. Tomlin, where I got to put foot all the way in your butt. Sir, what is up with your time management, bro? I need somebody to explain this to me. This has been one of the worst areas of your coaching, and consistently. Let me explain the ways. Listen to this in case you guys missed it out there. On that play, there was opportunity to call a timeout. First of all, and again, I'm not an NFL coach, but I probably would have started calling timeouts when we got closer to 2 minutes, when we got under 3 minutes left in the half, and it looked like the Titans are more than likely going to get a field goal or score. Call timeout. Call some timeouts before the 2-minute warning, because the 2-minute warning, see, I'm tongue-tied. I'm so upset, I'm tongue-tied. The 2-minute warning is what? An additional timeout. Why are you holding them in your pocket? We have nothing. The Steelers at this point have 3 points. The Titans are going to get the ball back. You need to try to get the ball back before the half. Okay, so you didn't call them. You didn't call them before the 2-minute warning. But guess what you do after the 2-minute warning? You let the clock go down to 21 seconds. Mike Tomlin, I'm a supporter, but I'm here to tell you, sir, this might be, and you know, it's happened so often, I could be wrong in what I'm about to say. This might be the worst time management I've ever seen conducted by you. Because you call a timeout at 21 seconds as if you have hopes of getting the ball back. So if that was your goal the entire time, why do you let the clock tick down to 21 seconds? Let me add insult to injury. Ben Roethlisberger put you in position to where Boswell has a 56-yard attempt with like 20 seconds. And actually less than that, because I believe by the time he got the ball, I don't remember if it was a touchback or not. But let's just say he had 21 seconds or less. We got in position enough to kick a field goal, and it's 56 yards. You know, I'm going to believe Romo. Romo played football. He said it's cold out there. It's probably going to affect his kick. Boz didn't hit it. Okay, we've seen Boz set the record at Heinz Field. He kicked a 57-yarder. So I'm not going to be mad at him kicking, missing that long kick. But, bruh, imagine if we would have had a minute left. 40 seconds, maybe 30. Mike Tomlin, that by far was the worst clock management I think I may have seen in your tenure. And I could even be wrong with that. But however, still a fan. Still appreciate you as a coach and still want you as a coach, by the way. Yeah, two things can be right at the same time. But your clock management is poo-poo. Do. Find a way to fix it, bro. Sheesh. Let's get back on track, folks. I could not believe it. I just could not believe that. I was losing my cool. I was 19 play drive at that. The defense. All right, so like I said, man, the 6 offensive possession, I literally wrote here, no reason to report this one because we only had 21 seconds, but Boswell was able to at least attempt to kick 56 yards, didn't hit it. Okay, the Steelers kick off to the Titans to start the second half. Steelers give up back-to-back runs of plus 8 yards. Steelers blow up a screenplay, and we did force a 3rd and 14, and the Steelers were able to force a 3rd and out, 3 and out after those, 2 consecutive runs there. Steelers get the ball back, 7th drive of the game. Ben Roethlisberger is sacked back. Guess who? Bud Dupree. And he does his little dig and scoop I say animation. I'm thinking gaming. His little celebration there. Hey man, it is what it is, and it's funny because I know that the Bud Dupree. Oh man, the fair weather fans, I know y'all going crazy about that. I know there was some, see, that's why we should have re-signed him. I know that's what they're doing. Not understanding that we were not going to be able to re-sign Bud Dupree. We were not going to. We weren't going to pay him that much money. We put ourselves in that situation. So I don't want to hear it because some of y'all saying that are the same ones that wanted him out of town anyway. I know y'all going off. I know y'all going off. But anyway, shout outs to Bud. I have no ill will towards Bud. He gets himself a sack. We lose 9 yards. And I'm not sure what was actually happening on that play. It looked like it was about to be a reverse, or it was play action into a reverse. I don't know what that was. I can't wait to see that play again because it looks like we did play action and then one of the guys was coming in motion. But yeah, we lose 9 yards there, and then Ben draws offsides on Jones. We get 5 of those yards back on 2nd and 14. Yeah, the next one, who comes into the office, drops a ball, brings up 3rd and 14, and the Steelers, at that point, go 3 and out. Chase Claypool, please come in the office, sir. Really, really quick, because I don't want to hold up the listeners. Come on, Chase, man. Your game just hasn't been great, man, since that celebration, I mean, listen, let me give you credit for the last game, though. You made some big catches on the last drive. I will acknowledge that. But I'm only calling you into the office because that was a huge drop. But also, I just have to acknowledge that now you got that monkey on your back. Ever since you talked about practice and music, it's been 2 consecutive weeks where there's something that we can point out and say it was you. Didn't really show up much in this game today. And again, we'll watch film to see how the Titans defense played our receivers. We'll see, how the Titans may have won the line of scrimmage, what the pressure looked like and all that, how much time Ben had. See, these are things, guys, that I can't tell you right now because we fresh off of watching a live game. I'll have more for you on Tuesday. Hopefully, if the All-22 is out by then. But I just got to call you, man, because this is what happens, when you're known for the wrong reasons, sir. Drops and all of that. And like I said, you just haven't been the best since mentioning music at practice. Again, give you credit for some catches you made in the Vikings game, but you still just haven't had that breakthrough performance, in my opinion, this season. I may have missed a game that maybe I'm not recalling. I may have missed you in one of those games, but I don't feel like you've had that breakout game, that second-year leap game in this season. So, got to call you out for that, but that's all, Claypool. Let's keep it moving, guys. Where are we now? We are on the Okay, we went 3 and out after that. Edmonds had a chance to get an interception, man, on that next defensive defensive series by the Steelers. Would have been a tough one, though. Remember that one they threw play action down the field, and Edmonds is kind of behind the receiver. Minka is kind of in front, and it did kind of hit his hands. But again, Edmonds is not a playmaker, in terms of a ball skills. So for me to get on him for not making that tough of an interception, but it was good to see that he was down there. And then he comes right back, and he has a nice tackle for loss against Rodgers. So back-to-back plays, man, by Terrell Edmonds. And Terrell Edmonds made some tackles in this game, too. I'm not going to say any of these guys played lights out. They had their moments, but Terrell Edmonds made some nice plays in this game, man. So let's give him his flowers, man. I'm doing that. I'm going to say he had a decent game from what I saw. I will, of course, rewatch the game in full to really diagnose it. But then T.J. Watt gets a sack on Tannehill, and Highsmith gets good pressure on that play as well. That was the one when T.J. Watt kind of ripped around the tight end. Highsmith coming on the other side. T.J. gets the tackle. And real quick, let's give T.J. Watt a round of applause. Round of applause for T.J. Watt, man. T.J. Watt sets this single-season sack record for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, great. I will mention it tonight since we won the game. But that was, good job by T.J. Watt, man, considering the fact that the guy hasn't played all the games and he's, in a way, still on pace to potentially, get close to the all-time sack, season record or what have you. But shout-outs to T.J. Watt. Let's continue. 8th drive, Trey Turner called for holding. Takes away a defensive pass interference on Buster Screen, or however you say his name. Y'all know who I'm talking about. But then Freiermuth gets the first down and, goes down right after that. We now know it was a concussion. But then there was a nice play, Matt Canada. Finally, you do something half decent, and we've seen this a couple times this year. There was a nice play call, man, to Zach Gentry. And I'll tell you guys in a moment why I give him credit for that. But we have another donation. I can't talk today, guys. I'm talking too fast or something, right? Round of applause. I'm gonna just say, what the? My man, what the? I don't even know if I don't know how to pronounce this. I'm gonna just say, what? My man, what says, appreciate the show and your analysis. You sound like a more clear-spoken 50 Cent from what he had as a soul. Okay. Sound like a more clear. I wonder, how could I sound like a more clear 50 Cent? I don't think I sound like 50 Cent at all, do I? Voice-wise? But I appreciate it. Thanks for the compliment. Thanks for the donation. Let's keep it moving. Where am I, guys? I'm losing my place. TJ, get the sack. Oh, I'm giving Matt Canada credit because that was a great time to call that tight end screen. This is just my analysis. I don't know if this is true or not. But the fact that Freiermuth goes out, you bring in a backup tight end. I don't think the defense is expecting him to be involved that quick. So I thought that was a great time. Great play call, but great time to call that tight end screen. And Gentry picks up 18 yards, I believe, on that play, so that was significant. After that, Claypool draws a pass interference. We get the ball at the 1-yard line, and guess what? Matt Canada again, or was it Ben Roethlisberger? Back-to-back quarterback sneaks. And Ben Roethlisberger scores his first touchdown in 3 years. Round of applause to Ben Roethlisberger. Oh, man. Still a nation. Y'all know why I'm laughing, man. As much as we call for just simple quarterback sneak like all of these other quarterbacks do, even Tom Brady, who's older than Ben Roethlisberger, he messed around and ran 2 of them. So shout-outs to Ben, or like I said, shout-outs to Canada, whichever one of them called it. It's good to see. But, hey, Ben is just going out on his last hurrah, man. I guess it ain't no need to protect it now, right? We get the touchdown. At this point, it's 13-10 Titans. 3rd and 6. Cam Sutton gets a great tackle, which forces a fumble. And then Haden dives and catches it. It almost looked like an interception, but it really was a fumble. But Haden dives and catches it, Steelers take over at the Titans 41-yard line. That was a significant play right there. So shout outs to Cam Hayward, man, for going low, making that short tackle, because either way, even if the dude doesn't fumble, it wouldn't have been a first down. So that would have been a 3 and out by the Steelers, but even better, force a fumble and recover it. 9th offensive drive, James Washington turns around and tries to give the ball right back. He fumbles, but he is then bailed out by a roughing the passer call on Jeffrey Simmons, who, by the way, I said was going to wreak havoc in this game. I don't think he was as impactful as I thought. So I'm really, excuse me, guy, had to sneeze all of a sudden. I'm really going to be paying attention to that matchup of Simmons and Kendrick Green and how we defended him. Or maybe we didn't. Maybe Ben moved around I don't know. But I didn't really hear Jeffrey Simmons' name as much, and that's who was my biggest concern. So I can't wait to look at the film. However, I will admit, I think that was a ticky-tack call because he was kind of blocked down to the ground, and then he went to make the tackle. Could Simmons have pulled off? Maybe, but again, I'm fair, guys. Whether it goes for or against my team, I'm going to be fair and honest. I think you let that one go. So we got lucky there. I know the refs were very spotty in this game, but that was a call I think that kind of possibly would have went against the Titans. Just my opinion. And then Deontay Johnson is called for false start. And then Ben's hard count, by the way. How do you get called? How does your quarterback fool you? Ben takes a shot in the end zone to James Washington, who was covered, and he had Deontay Johnson underneath. Remember, guys, what I say. Ben is notorious for clearly, he was just waiting for that James Washington double move, and he let it go. If he just looks right in front of him, Deontay Johnson is coming open, and even Tony Romo said he probably walks into the end zone. But that's Ben Roethlisberger, guys. We've grown accustomed to that. We kick a field goal. It is now 13-13. Steelers force a 3rd and 11 on the Titans. Titans able to convert a pass to Rodgers right in front of Edmonds. You know, I wish he could have been a little closer to that. Again, I'll watch the film and see what happened there, but, you know, Edmonds kind of gave that catch up right in front of him. We then get him into a 3rd and 3. The ball gets tipped by Taco Charlton, and Joe Schobert comes off with the pick and a nice return as well. And again, look at how much I just talked about the Steelers turning the ball over, you know, on the Titans. Not us giving them the ball, but us forcing turnovers. That was huge right there. But again, man, shout outs to guys like Taco Charlton. I've said this. I've said Taco Charlton has given us some decent snaps. He hasn't been, you know, anybody that's jumping off the charts, but he's been okay. He's been okay as a rotational piece. So comes up with a huge play there, even bigger play for Schobert to recognize it and pick it off. And here we are on the 10th drive. The Steelers go no huddle after a 7-yard pickup to Deontay Johnson. Najee gets blown up on the 2nd down, loses a couple yards, brings up a 3rd and 5, and then Ben gets sacked, and we're forced to punt. And on that particular play, Ben looks like, you know, he could have stood in the pocket a little longer. He stepped up into the pressure, and it caused the sack. But the Steelers, I don't know why I put forced to punt, but at that point, we kicked the field goal. We went up 16-13. Tannehill then fumbles the snap. On the very next possession, TJ Watt and Cam Hayward are able to get on the ball. TJ wrestles the ball away. So again, another turnover. Look at all them turnovers that quick. That's crazy. That was almost like, I mean, it looks like from looking at my list here, was it 3 consecutive turnovers? It's crazy. You know, the Titans just, it's bad bug, man. They got caught with the turnover bug, and we're thankful for it. 11th drive. Harris loses 5 yards on a 2nd and 5, brings up a 3rd and 9. I wrote that this was a bad decision by Najee Harris, man. And I understand he's trying to do all he can, but, you know, those are the little things that you learn as you progress and become a veteran. You know when to fold them, if you will. Like, sometimes just take the loss and lose a yard instead of 5 yards. So that was just a bad decision by Najee. But the Steelers were unable to convert, and we had to settle again for another field goal, 19-3 at this point. And then again, y'all know how everything ended, but I will read it here anyway. Steelers give up 20 yards on 1st down. Steelers give up a 4th and 1 right at the 2-minute warning. And then TJ Watt goes down, but he does come back into the game. And Tuska, shout outs to Tuska. Here's another guy, another rotational piece that made a name for himself a little bit in this game. He forced the fumble And he got held at the same time, which allowed us to decline that, put him in a 3rd and long situation. And then the Steelers were faced with the 4th and 6 for the game. And Joe Haden comes up with a tremendous tackle to stop those guys short. And the Steelers win. And what were the referees looking at? Please explain to me what the referees were looking at there. I don't understand what was going on. Really don't. That was clearly short. But my bad, guys. We missed here a donation from C.T. Pittman. Round of applause. He says, what's Trey Turner's contract? I've seen enough of him this season. He gets beat way too much to be a veteran. If I'm not mistaken, CT, and I'm not 100% sure, man, maybe I'll look into it, but I believe that he's just on a 1-year contract. So, I'm pretty sure he won't be back with us next year. So just my opinion. I mean, I can't say pretty sure, but it's only a 1-year deal, and I would say that his play hasn't been good enough for us to try to re-up. So, we might be done with him, which would make you happy. Let's see. Another donation. 2 more. Derek Moore, he says, just supporting, man. Round of applause to you as well as C.T. Pittman for another donation. So round of applause to both of you good brothers. CT says, and another thing. What's wrong with your guys trying to go east and west too much instead of getting up the field on a possession downs? Yeah, man. And I think you talk about the Deontay Johnson play. I don't know, man. I just think that they believe in their ability. They're shifty. Deontay feels like he's shifty enough to make a guy miss. And, yeah, we've seen quite a few times where he kind of seems like he loses yards, or maybe you turn up, you make it a shorter, opportunity to maybe go for it on 4th. And, yeah, like that one with Najee, I just think he was just trying to do too much, And sometimes I just think they feel like the blocking isn't there, so they're trying to create something. But I think it's a combination of all of those things. So really quick, guys, let me give you my takeaways, and then I'll just jump into the chat and we'll be done. Steelers give up too much on the ground on 1st down. I promise I didn't mean to rhyme that, but, man, even today, they didn't rush on us crazy. We kind of held them in check, but we give up too much on 1st down, man. Like, I just didn't have I didn't have a good feeling on their last drive when they run for 20 yards on the 1st down. I'm like, come on. We do that way too much. And again, it's just that run defense, man. Our run defense just is what it is this year. We're 30th in the league. It's horrible. Presley Harvin. I already talked about him, but I put here his bad punts, man, his inconsistency, and his 2 bad punts basically aided the Titans in an easier opportunity to go up 10-0 because they started with shorter fields. Steelers have less than 40 yards of total offense in the 1st quarter. That's just pathetic. That's what we know, though. Slow offense. It's the reason why I say, I'll say it in a minute, but it's the reason why. I'll tell y'all in a second. 16 yards rushing in the 1st half by the Steelers. Horrendous. 3 field goals in the last 4 games and no touchdowns in the 1st half. I did not know that until they said it on the broadcast. That is just horrible. 3 field goals in the last 4 games and no touchdowns in the 1st half in that span. That is just yowza. All right, guys, hold on. Let me get to our game and take a look at the stats. Take a look at the stats, man, so I can get this stuff together here. Oh, I forgot the Ravens playing Green Bay. Let me help them get off here, man, so I can see what's happening there. Statistics. Roethlisberger only throws the ball 25 times, which is good, but no touchdowns by him. Najee Harris, 12 attempts for 18 yards. Holy moly, guacamole. Defense won this game for us, man, pretty much. Let's see. Steelers burn a defensive timeout on 3rd and 14. And that was on the opening drive of the 2nd half. And I notated that because after you get a sack and you get the team backed up, like, You can't. That's another thing with the time management. And again, I don't know if that's on Tomlin or whoever put the personnel out there. Why weren't they ready after that? Like, you got to burn a timeout at that point. And the reason why I notated that, guys, is that could have been significant. As close as this game was, that could have been significant. Way too early to burn a timeout. And I put here Steelers are not scoring touchdowns on turnovers. You know, we played the field goal game today, and that's just not going to be good enough. And the last thing, I do want to talk about Marlette, man. Right now, I think I might re-sign Arthur Marlette because we've been consistently trying to find Mike Hilton's replacement. Marlette does some good things, man, as far as helping against the run, and it looks like they've developed him to kind of be sort of what Mike Hilton was in the blitz game. You know, maybe not as good yet, hasn't gotten home really on it, but he's a rough and rugged player. I like the way he plays. So I'm actually in favor of I'm in favor of it. I'm in favor of maybe keeping him around, man. Just, you know, maybe you look for a guy in the draft as well and let him compete. But I'm in favor of keeping Marlette around and having that particular role. So we'll see. Let's see. I think that's about all I got, guys, and I'll come get in the chat here. But overall, let me just give you my arching point of view. Listen, I'm still where I'm at with this team. This is the reason why I don't think we do anything in the playoffs, man. You know, and my big brother, cousin Floyd, texted me the same thing during the game. We just cannot. We can't get off the field sometimes on third down. You know, our defense played good today. I will say that. But situationally, too, sometimes we're just not getting off the field when we should, especially on third and longs. But then also, our offense just, we're not going to be able to do this. If we make it to the playoffs somehow, which I'm kind of saying we probably won't, because I don't think we go now at this point 2-1 and end up 9-7-1. I probably don't see that happening. But guys, we can't play like this and win. The offense does not get going literally until the fourth quarter. Like, how many times are we going to? And today, let's not forget today the amount of turnovers we got. And even with all them turnovers, think about this. All those turnovers, we still didn't get but 19 points, bro. We scored no touchdowns off of that. It's not enough. It's not enough. Yeah, so I'm still where I'm at with this team. So that's where I'm at, guys. I mean, again, I'm going to continue to watch. Maybe they'll surprise us, but I just don't see it. I do not see it. I'm still where I was last week. The season pretty much is over in terms of longevity or making any noise. So that's what I got. But all right, guys, let me get into the chat, man, and see what you guys have to say here. We're going to start off with Rad Rob. He says, real Steelers head coach would use Derek Watt, DJ Watt, okay, plus 6 offensive linemen and use Najee for 30 power runs a game. And real Steelers head coach would insist Moof get 10 to 15 touches per game. But our head coach doesn't do that, does he? Okay, well, I mean, your opinion is your opinion, Rad. But I mean, now, you know, you're putting everything on the head coach in terms of play calling and personnel. So like I said, it's your opinion. But again, in today's football, I don't know if we're going to run 30 power runs a game. I don't know. And again, you got to consider the offensive line that we currently have too. Because power used to be our bread and butter. We've gone away from that. I tend to believe there's a reason for it, but who knows? But you know, I respect your opinion. But sounds like you're dumping a lot in the head coach's lap there. But you know, that's fair. What else we got? Enhancement Talent says Tomlin said in the postgame that he didn't call timeouts at the end of the half was basically to put pressure on the Titans play calling. Not saying I agree, but similar to Pat in the Super Bowl versus the Seahawks. Okay, and you know what, enhancement? I think I'm right there with you. I don't necessarily agree with that strategy, but this is the reason, guys, why you rarely hear me say a coach is stupid or something for them doing something that I don't agree with, because there's a rhyme or reason to it. We might not agree, and y'all heard me. I called him in the office. I don't agree with it because, again, Tomlin has a long history of tremendously bad time management. So that's the reason why I got to go with familiarity in that situation as far as my opinion on it. But if that was his reason, then that was his reason. We can disagree, but okay. At least he gave us an explanation because it was bad. CT Pittman, man, with another donation. Round of applause. He says, it may be a bad take, but I don't want to see these Steelers in the playoffs offensively. We struggle. Offense is ugly. I'm with you. This is why I called the season already. It's no point. Because I do not think that this team has a shot in to win a Super Bowl. So what difference do it make if they get to the playoffs? I just don't think we have a championship caliber team right now with the inconsistent offense and spotty defense, particularly against the run. So you're right. I don't really care for them getting in the playoffs. I'm going to root for them. We get there. I'm going to root for them every week just like this. Yay, Cold Steelers, here we go. But if I had my preference off of the team that I see, I don't care about getting in no playoffs, man. So, yeah, that's just my opinion, bro. Rad Rob, you got another one here. He says, real Steelers football has always been old school despite how often 31 teams following fads. By going heavy, you burn clock, and it helps the Steelers D stay fresh. All that opens up big plays. Rad, I don't think any of us agree with what you're saying in theory, but have you watched this team? We have not won the line of scrimmage. I don't think adding that 6 offensive linemen going to do anything. We haven't won the line of scrimmage when we've put Zach Banner out there as tackle eligible. I'm just saying. Our offensive line has gotten pushed quite often. So I just don't believe that approach is going to work. I've been consistently saying all season that when we run the football, we need to spread it out because we haven't been successful. You understand what I'm saying? We haven't been successful when we just try to play bully ball because we're not winning the line of scrimmage. Lyle McCombs, round of applause for the donation. Appreciate that, brother. Oh, Kenyon is responding to somebody about they're saying that Munch should be the head coach. Okay. Opinions vary, folks. Robert Ellison says, Sim, Alu out for the rest of the season. Yeah, he's done, bro. Yeah. Alu was done for the season when he got hurt. So, yeah, there's no coming back. I mean, unless he tremendously recovered. But last I know, he wouldn't be back. Let's see. Charlie Brown says here, the offensive line coach we needed got the job in Alabama as their offensive line coach. So you guys are down on Adrian Clem now? Let me ask y'all this. This is a serious question. What more can the offensive line coach do for Kendrick Green and his lack of being able to sustain power and bull rushes? I'm asking that question because I still think that people put too much stock into coaches. Coaches definitely are a significant piece, but I think some of the things we try to look for, or I'm going to go as far as saying excuses. I feel like sometimes we try to look for things that just cling on to your narrative, because I'm dead serious. with our offensive linemen, and any of the offensive linemen this year, I really legitimately want somebody to say, give me some substance. What does another coach do for those guys the way they've been getting bullied with power and stuff like that? So it's a real question. Shout outs to Lyle McCombs, man, for another donation. Appreciate that. He says the running backs and wide receivers are trying too much, running east and west, missing open holes. Yeah, I think that is happening a little bit. I've seen some people point that out, man, about Najee a few times. And, again, I'm not knocking Najee. These are things that he's going to develop. But, yeah, I've definitely seen that narrative as well, that there's certain times that, there's a hole there and he might be trying to do too much. Haas Jaffer says, why don't the Steelers use a slash like Cordell Stewart once in a while because the offensive line sucks? Who's going to run that currently that's on the team? Leonard Green says, if they make the playoffs, we all will be disgusted with the results. They have been showing us who they are all season. Thank you, man. Leonard Green, you got it. I mean, again, we're still fans, but we all should be able to make assessments with our eyes. We all should. We all should. I mean, this stuff is on display. We see it every week. Wave Dave says, didn't Clem get credit for Kevin Dotson last year? I'm just saying, man, it's funny. It's funny how the things shift. When a player doesn't do something, they blame the coach. When a player did something decent, they say it was the coach. Again, like I told y'all, I think there's too much blame and credit that goes to coaches in certain scenarios. That's always going to be my opinion. Everything isn't the coach. It's just not everything. Marlon says, the O-line, as bad as they are right now, is getting good experience of going through the BS. But next year, we need to add some pieces in free agency and use the draft next year. They should improve. I'm right there with you, Marlon. I think for sure this year it's more so personnel than it is offensive line coach. I'm just saying. I don't think there's nothing that a coach can do to help Kendrick Green handle power and bull rushes. Maybe some little techniques, yeah. But we can't assume that this stuff isn't being taught. That's all I'm saying. Walter Worthy says, just state the facts, Sim. Tomlin doesn't know how to coach speed nor strength. He needs to go. Oh, that's your opinion, Walter. It's your opinion. And I don't know how you say that those are facts. I don't know if that's a fact, whether it's right or wrong. I can't speak to that. So, but thanks for sharing your opinion. Sade says, this team just isn't very good this year. That's it. I ain't even got to read the rest of her comment. Thank you, Sade. Well, let's continue. She says, we can't make any noise in the playoffs. The O-line looks about as bad as it did this year. I see 8-1 in our near future. There you go. I don't see much better than that either. I don't see much better than that either. What else we got here, man? Keen Go Crazy says, the Tomlin hatred runs deep. Yeah. For those that hate him, they hate him, boy. MT Mooch says, Mike Willis reminds me of Deshaun Watson. Not Mike Willis. Malik Willis reminds me of Deshaun Watson. Could he be a great pick? Yeah, and I think, y'all know I like Malik Willis, but I think I need to go back and watch more of his more recent games, like, later in the season, because I didn't watch as many. But depending on where we pick him, I don't think Malik Willis goes in the first. Not to the Steelers, by the way. Not saying that I disagree with picking him. I just don't think they pick him in the first. Oh, my bad, Walter. Thank you for bringing it to my attention, Walter. It's just I see it so much that I can't never tell when people are joking or not. But Walter, let me give Walter credit. Walter says, you missed the sarcasm. How do you coach someone to be faster or strong? Man, round of applause to Walter. Thanks, man. Listen, that's why I tell you guys, we family here, man. You know, I was wrong. He wasn't saying that to be serious. But like my man said earlier, sometimes the Tomlin hate is so real, I can't tell when people are being serious or not. But my bad, Walter. Sorry for that. Haas Joffer says, I'm sorry, Sam, the coaching staff sucks. Okay. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not. I cannot make a definitive argument. So that's just an opinion. But thanks for sharing. Couple more guys, and I'm going to get out of here. Isaiah Threats says, Kevin Colbert has been running his team into the ground the past few years with not drafting high priority positions and making dumb trades for 1-year players. You know what? There's a good argument there. There's a good argument there. You know, we could say the trade for Minkah Fitzpatrick, and I'm still going to say that was a hit. But there's definitely an argument to be made, you know, as far as the way Kevin Colbert as a whole has approached the team and things of that nature. So, yeah, thanks for sharing that. Let's see. Let me get one more here. A couple more. Football Mind. What's up, football? He says, Kendrick Green lacks pure raw strength needed to play in the league. He also lacks, I missed it. He also lacks length, which will never change. That's what I'm saying. You know, that ain't that regardless of the coach. You know what I mean? Kendrick Green he has his warts, man. He has his warts. Brian Williams says Green will benefit from the off-season season weight and conditioning program. Yeah. He's going to need a lot. He's definitely going to need a lot. Round of applause again, man. C.T. Pittman, man, emptying the bank account tonight. He says, people don't understand that if Tomlin is let go, he'll be unemployed for less than 48 hours, guaranteed. Yeah, they don't. And it's one of those things, like I said, you take your bias off. My bias is towards the Steelers. It's not towards the coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, none of that. You know, yes, I've openly said, yeah, I support Tomlin. I think Tomlin is a great coach. Yes, I said it. He has warts. I complained about one of my biggest warts that he has in this show. But I just think sometimes fans get caught up in I just think you go too far sometimes. Even if it ain't Tomlin. You can even talk about other fan bases, how they be ready to run coaches off so fast. I just think, you know, people just don't recognize, I don't know, consistency. Yes, you know, another knock on Tomlin is his playoff record hasn't been good in the last 10 years. We all agree on that. And that's the thing is that's not a chess move or nothing. We all agree on that. But I just think some people go overboard with the amount of disdain. I'm like, wow. Well, whatever. You know, that's not my problem. All right, let's end it with this one. Builder's Life said, here's Colbert. Rooney says, QB, dang it, Jackson is going to give us Burns. Our safety is going to give us Edmonds. The inside linebacker to the Bucks was taken. Give us Bush. If your top guy is gone, get a stud and another. Yeah, you know, and to be fair with Colbert too, man, like I said, you know, it's easy for us to criticize the things that he does, but, you know, we can't act like there hasn't been, you know, good picks and things of that nature in his tenure, but you know, it's a fair argument on both sides of the table. You know, I will agree with that. One more from my man Marlon. Well, actually two more because I got another donation. But we'll read Marlon, we'll read the donation, and then we'll get out of here. He says, I have my issues with Tomlin, but players at the end of the day have to play at a high level and make plays. There comes a time where you just have to beat the man across from you. Yes. And y'all know Marlon has had his issues with Tomlin. And that's the thing. It's fair. What Marlon is saying is fair. We don't have to agree on anything with that Tomlin does. You could have things that you dislike. We all should. So I think Marlon's comment here is perfect. He says he has his issues with Tomlin. But at some point, you got to look at the players. Exactly. Great comment right there, Marlon. Appreciate that. All right, we have one more donation here from Lyle McCombs. Lyle says, how do we plug the middle of the defensive line? Free agent or draft? I can't all the way answer that because honestly, I don't know who the free agents will be, who's available. But I will say, if you can somehow get that boy out of Georgia, let me tell you, you get that boy out of Georgia. But yeah, I haven't looked at a ton of defensive tackles. I don't know who's coming up for free agency as well. So I can't thoroughly answer that. You know, maybe Kenyon might be able to, to add in on that a little bit. But other than that, yeah, don't know. But all right, man, I think that's gonna do it for me, man. I've been here quite a long time, man. Hour and 17 minutes. So I'm gonna go eat me some dinner, watch some more football, and we got the win, guys. I mean, listen, it's something to be happy about, right? Going into the holiday break, we can be happy that the Steelers had a win, and we'll get to see them play. Oh boy, them Kansas City Chiefs. I'm just saying, man. Whew. I'm just saying that's gonna be tough. But we'll talk about it. But again, I thank you guys for coming through today. You'll see me again for Terrible Towel Tuesday. That is on Tuesday, of course, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, where I'll give a slight recap. But then that is the time for you guys to call and let your voices be heard. That is phone call time. Phone number is 619-924-0818. Again, 619-924-0818. It is on the screen as well. It should be in the description of this video as well. That is your time. Call in on Tuesday and give me what's on your mind. Good, bad, indifferent, whatever. I will welcome it. But other than that, if you're new to the channel, consider doing that, man. If you like what you saw here today, I did see some of you guys subscribe, so thank you for that. Make sure you turn on your notifications so you know when videos are up and running. And the only thing else I ask you guys to do for me is if you like the video, show me with your actions. But outside of that, you guys know the routine. Watch you some football tonight. Enjoy the rest of it. Enjoy the win. I will see you guys on Tuesday. Stay safe. God bless. Good night. And thank you for tuning in to the Terrible Towel post-game show.